Hello everybody, my name is Benji and welcome back to Dyson Sphere program, where my power grid is suffering really badly, and I'm still doing research. I think we should, we're gonna pause. We're gonna pause the research and just kind of wait for the power grid to not be suffering so much. And we're actually going to solve our power grid issue today. So, a while ago now, at this point, I don't know how many episodes, but a while ago now, we ended up getting the mini fusion power generation here, which uses the deuterium fuel rods and the mini fusion power generators, as well as the deuterium fractionators, to actually produce power at a very high rate. And that hydrogen comes from oil processing. So what we're going to do today is we're going to start. First of all, we have burned through the entirety of our petroleum that we had stored, which means that this oil setup is now working at full speed to provide us with the petroleum that we need for our systems, and it can't keep up. So the first thing that we have to do is place down another one of these systems. I might honestly just go on ahead and place two, if I'm being honest, because we're going to need a lot of petroleum, and with that petroleum, we're going to be making a lot of hydrogen. And that hydrogen is going to be fantastic until we get to the point where we can do gas giant exploitation, which we technically already can do. It's just highly expensive, power-wise and resource-wise, so I don't really want to delve into that too much, at least not until we stabilize our power grid first. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to place down another one of these systems, and that's really easy because we have the oil cracking, which gives us 12 oil in, 12 refined oil out, and 12 hydrogen out. So we're just going to grab this blueprint, and we're going to smack it down right here. Of course, once we find a place for it that it lets us, and we place down the foundations for it and get everything else out of the way as well. And then I'm going to run around and I'm going to tap some more of these oil nodes. Specifically, I'm going to tap these 5 because they're all in close proximity. I can make it one planetary logistics hub, and that'll help with the lack of power because we are burning through our supply faster than we can actually replenish it. Part of that has to do with the power grid just sucking. So I'm going to go on ahead and do that. Then we're going to move on to having a planetary automation of the supermagnetic rings, the blue motors. We're going to put that over in the blue motor section, or in the automation section over here. We have our regular motors, and then somewhere we have green motors. At least I thought we had green motors somewhere. If we don't have green motors being made somewhere, we need to do that too. And we'll probably just do that all in this area here. And then we'll do blue motors. And then with those blue motors, we're going to make a ton of these fractionators in order to actually start cracking our hydrogen into deuterium. And then we're also going to need to make some of the fusion generators, these guys, using the blue motors, and some of these carbon nanotubes, actually. So we're going to need our research to start, and we're going to need these guys. So we're going to need to work on that as well. Alright, so we've got a jam-packed episode. We're going to need to get moving. So let me go on ahead and boop in 2 more of these oil setups, and I will be right back. And with the last belt place, we now have all of our oil, all of our new oil, I guess I should say, ready to rock and roll. Just gotta slap it into the power grid, and we've got some more oil ready to rock and ready to roll. And then obviously we set this to min load of drones to be 100%. The charging power we just left at the base 12 because we're suffering. And you can see it's rather slow. Like each node is only 3, I think it's a maximum of like 5 per second. So But we have their own little buffers here, as well as the buffer in the actual drone hub thingy itself, the planetary logic tower. And you can see we now have the oil flowing between the two very beautifully. I'm also gonna get rid of that belt because it's no longer required. And you can see here our oil supply is suffering. And that's partially because of our power supply, partially because of the fact that we ran out of oil in our little storage tanks here. So putting that oil online was crucial to start all of these systems up, and it's gonna, you know, do its darndest. I think it's gonna fill up these two first because they're closer. At least I think that's how that works. I hope that's how that works. But we're just kind of gonna let that run. We already shut down our science. I completely negated the queue, which I can actually probably undo, but we definitely want to leave it offline so that these things can all back up nice and wonderfully. Like you can see it trying to back up here, it's backing up here. The more it backs up, the less power it's going to use, and the less power it uses, the more our grid can actually start to recover, because, again, we're suffering. But next up on the agenda is moving over to the automation district down here in the bottom corner of the map. Actually, I think this is the top corner if I remember correctly. This is actually the North Pole for some reason. And we're going to try to do some of our green motor automation here. And we can also go on ahead and upgrade all of these guys to the full Mark II assembly machines, because we're gonna need them as Mark II assembling machines. I'm shocked it didn't put any crap in my inventory, so that's actually kind of nice, not gonna lie. But let's go on ahead, let's take a look here at our green motors. And I think I do have a sheet for this. We're only going to want one or two, probably two of these guys per minute. Because for the blue motors, it's a lot. It's not a lot of machines, but, you know, it's a decent amount of machines. So one of these gets made every 3 seconds, so we need 3 machines for every one of these guys. So we're going to want 6 machines for this, and that's going to be super, super duper easy. And then what I think I'm going to do for the green motors, because the green motors are very easy. Green motors are just copper rings, copper magnets, the magnetic coils, and electric motors to make the green motors. So what we can do here is just straight up have this guy be magnetic coils, drop it to 1,000, and use storage mode. And then we can bring this in like that, and then have it be electromagnetic rings supply. And let's see, how many of these guys are we making here? I actually don't remember how many we're making. 1 every 2 seconds, which means 2 of these are 1. So we have 6 being made here. And if we have 6 being made here, let me go on ahead and find the proper ratio. It looks like we're going to be getting a maximum of 3 green motors out of this, and a maximum of 3 green motors would be 6 machines. So in that case, we're just going to grab these guys, our little foundations, and place ourselves some foundations. Go into the wrong tab too many times to count. And then 6 machines total, 3 on each side. And this is just standard procedure at this point. We have the motors come out, we have the copper rings come out, And then same thing, we have the motors come out. We have the copper rings come out. And then we have the input go back to the center. We grab these guys, do that, 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 that. Grab ourselves some power to put here and here. Select the wrong recipe, then select the right recipe. It's very important that you select the wrong one first. No, it's not. I'm joking. I'm just stupid. And there we go. Green motors have now been automated. And what I can do for the green motors and the motors is if I need more green motors and more motors, I can literally just copy this entire design and just plop it down somewhere else. But that's not the main goal right now. The main goal right now is our blue motors. So this will probably be enough space for blue motors because blue motors are teeny tiny. Oops, wrong. And then I don't want to do that because it's going to copy the settings. Which I think it's probably going to anyway. Yeah, so go on ahead, clear that out. Grab, where are my drones? There they are. Grab like 10 drones, just like we had for the other one. And then we need, sadly, 3 inputs and 1 output to get the blue motors. We need the green, we need the magnets, and we need the energetic graphite. Drop all of these guys down to 1,000. And then go on ahead and hit demand. That, because we can. And then, like I said, in order to actually get this rolling, we need 3 machines. Which, shoot, I actually don't have the materials for it. But that's okay, because I can cheat. And I can do this. And now, all of a sudden, I have the materials for it. Just like that. I love being late game. And then I'll just go on ahead and do this, because it's going to be easy to just have this kind of a setup. And then grab this. That's Mark III belts. Those are expensive. We don't want to do that. And now we need the 3 inputs. So the green motors come out, the magnets come out, and the energetic graphite comes out, just like this. For a second I thought I wasn't recording and I was about to cry, because I would have had to redo all of this. And then we grab our lovely, lovely inserters, and just do that. And then we're just gonna do this time around. And then boom. Ah, wait a second, wait a second, wait a second, wait a second. Grab that, because that's bad. We can't do that. We need to have this guy here. Like so. Because you are gonna supply our blue motors to the entirety of the planet. Grab 10 again, plonk them, 100%. And we are indeed making blue motors. The green motors won't entirely be able to keep up with this until we plonk down another one of these systems here, and until we actually start having energy. But this little blue motor stack will be fine in the meantime. And now what we can do is go the whole way back to here, where I set up a temporary blue motor maker. And we need to make these fractionators and the miniature fusion power plants. Now, the miniature fusion power plants are a little more complicated than these guys are. And these guys, I'm getting factorioed right now. Holy crap, I didn't even realize. It's the whole, I have a goal, but then different things get in the way of said goal. We need to take this system that we have right here and turn it into a permanent system for making, first of all, microprocessors, and second of all, processor chips. Oh boy. Okay. That's doable. Let's go take a look at our little automation sector down here and see where we might be able to put some of this. Where we could put some of this is up here. We could do it here. That would be fine to do it right here. We need to make microprocessors, microcrystalline components, whatever the heck they're called. They're the in-between step of the green motor chips. Up this way. Right here. Right here. So first of all, we're gonna need to get some foundations to cover up the water. Probably just like that should be fine, if I had to guess. But we need these guys, the processors, and then the microcrystalline components. Microcrystalline components are easy. It's just silica and copper. The processors are a little more difficult because it's the microcrystalline components and the process and the green chips, the circuit boards, which we do have a circuit board set up, and that'll be fine. So I think what I will do is I'll just take this and do like 6, and then I can upgrade them all later. But what we're gonna want... Aha, I see what I can do. So I can take it exactly as I have this system here, and then just change the inputs, which will work so beautifully. So this will be our... Where's the button? There it is. It's different on this screen. And then we're actually going to just make this... Well, we'll make it a supply, and then we'll give it some drones. We're going to give this one 20 drones. Like so. 20 drones. And then we need copper, and we need silica. And then I'm going to make these guys 2,000, because we're going to need a lot of them. Hit demand, hit demand. And then these will be these guys. Then we take out the copper on one side of the belt, take out the silica on the other side of the belt, and then what we can do is we can have one here, one, nope, wrong, and then we have to cross like that, and that'll work perfectly for this. Then we can take the output straight back and in. We can take this output straight back and in. Same thing with this one, straight back and in. And same thing with this last one over here. I'm struggling to see. Straight back and in. And then it was copper first. Take it the whole way. And silica second, take it the whole way, and then just copy this, put it here, copy this, put it there, make sure they have an output onto the center of the belt, and then copy it the whole way down. And then in terms of power, we should... How did I do it here? Yeah, we should just be able to go on ahead and put it here, here, here... No. Not there. And then here, and here. And that should power everything on. It does. The only thing it doesn't power is this. And then, like I said, I can upgrade them all later. I can actually probably just get most of the rest of it out of the way, and then we can upgrade it later. And then we can copy this design and place it here. Wait for it to place the logic tower. I did put 100%, right? I did. And then instead of these two, we can do microcrystalline component and green circuit board with the processor there. And then I'll just take 1,000, take 1,000, and then I'll hit demand, demand, supply, and then this one I'll put as storage, because it's literally right here. All I have to do is that. And boom. Now we're good. Ah, I'm out of power. That's a problem. Let's fix that problem. And then here, we'll go on ahead and do green circuits, not processors, microprocessors, like that. Microcrystalline component, whatever. I keep calling them the wrong name. You'll just have to figure out what I mean. Sadly enough. Because sometimes I don't even know what I mean. So, just putting that out there. And then just simply copy paste it onto everything like that. Now we have processors being fully made. And the last thing that we need to do in order to actually automate these fractionators is to just find somewhere close to our little hub area that we can quite literally just plop down a temporary design and just have it all work beautifully. And look at that, it's already starting to work just as perfectly as I could have imagined. I am going to take some of these guys. That way I can go on ahead and upgrade as much as I can. But in terms of what I mean by temporary design, everything that we just did right there is permanent. That is permanent, that will not go away. It will only be upgraded or repasted. What I mean by permanent design is take two of these guys, here and here, and then take some of these guys, probably like 3 of them, because we're gonna need a lot of fractionators. And then, first of all, set the recipe to fractionator, like so. Second of all, grab this. We need glass, we need stone. What else does a fractionator need? We need steel. That's titanium alloy. Steel. And then these processors. Bump them all down to 500 and hit demand. Literally every single one of them down to 500. Down to 500. Demand, demand, demand. And I can take these guys, and I will actually move back all of our machines now that I'm kind of looking at it a little bit more. We're gonna want them back here, that way we just don't have to do everything so far and wonky. Grab our sorter Mark IIs, put them in like this, clip off the ends of the belts, and then take our processors, run them out the front, put it here, 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 put in power, and then probably take a belt like right here, and then put these guys on a belt, and I'm honestly just gonna run them in. I'm just gonna run them into the thing. We're gonna put fractionators as a storage, and we're gonna cap it at 400. Let's call it. What's wrong with the processors? Oh, I didn't put any drones in here. That's what's wrong with the processors. Okay, that's fine. Yeah, it's gonna need a lot more microcrystalline components than that. And that's because of the fact that the microcrystalline components are made 1 every 2. The processors are made 1 every 3, but they take 2 microcrystalline components in order to create 1 processor. So we need 1.5 processor manufacturers for every 1 of these. So I would need 1.5 of these systems, which is actually quite achievable. How many of these guys are in there? Because it's the same thing here. 24. I can actually go do that right now. Yeah, I can actually go fix that right now, because these produce faster. Granted, not when the energy is being stupid like this, but hey, we'll take it. Now, how long have I been recording? 26 minutes. We're fine. We're fine on time. So let's just go on ahead and take a look here. We already have 12 of these guys fully made. The issue is still power. Oh, it's bad. Oh, it's really bad. Oh, it's awful. It's abysmal. And it's because there's so many drones moving and grooving. There's too much happening. There is simply too much going on. So I think what we're gonna do is we're just gonna swap that to storage, and that's just gonna do its thing. These will still be going and they'll be fine. All of this needs to still be processing because that's how we get some of our power. We can't shut this down because we just turned it all on. I think we really just need to wait here on the power supply end. And that sucks. That's awful. That is so awful. Our power is just abysmal right now. It won't be soon. Soon it won't be. Soon it will not be abysmal. So I would like to make 10 of these. Obviously we need carbon nanotubes in order to make that, which is an oil setup, which is going to be a blueprint, which requires power. So we're on the right track. We are on the right track. We are moving and grooving. The issue is that we're just using too much power. Like, that really is all that is happening right now, is that we are using too much power. It does not get much simpler than that. Yeah, just look at how slow these machines are being right now. Alright, let's bonk all of you guys down to storage. That way we at least take that offline. Bonk you down to storage as well, and just hard cap you. That way it doesn't take... well, it's fine. It'll be fine. I don't think these are taking up too much of our charging power, because they're just kind of existing, more or less. I also need to make myself a reminder to do remote demand on this. And then we'll just bump it up later, because I do have those crystals being made on Assad Astralis too. We are just draining my power grid right now, is really all that there is to it. And it's mostly these drone ports. Like, these drone ports are just taking up way too much of our power at the moment. And that's the one thing that I really like about Satisfactory, is when you click on the power grid, it tells you, like, what is going to be used, and then it also will tell you how much is being used in certain areas. But here, I don't have that ability to just see omnipotently. But what I can do is I can just take the entire base offline, let some of our, you know, stations actually restock on the power front, and just leave it be in that regard. Because the reason why we're having such a power drain is because when the power goes out, our miners for the power stations stop mining, which means they start producing fuel, which means we produce less power. And that's just an awful situation to be in. That is an abysmal situation to be in. Like right here, these guys are just not producing power because they're not getting fuel. I feel like I need an emergency system, like on backup, on demand, just in order to have. But anyway, we need to figure out what we're doing next. And next is probably, because the carbon nanotubes, I can just set up a temporary thing, and I can just make a bunch of carbon nanotubes, and that'll be fine. And then we'll just have mini fusion power plants, because we only need like 20 of these guys, and we'll be fine. I think the next thing that we need to focus on is probably these, the deuterium fuel rods. That's the next production line that we need to focus on. So we get 2 every 12 seconds. That means we get 1 per machine every 6 seconds, which means we need 6 machines to get 1 per second. So we're going to go on ahead, we're going to draw up a system that makes us, with 12 machines, makes us 2 of these deuterium fuel rods every single second. And we're going to do that up where we have the majority of our power grid up here. No? Yes, up here. So yellow science is going to continue into green and purple down this direction. So to make those deuterium fuel rods, we're going to go on ahead and focus right here next to this design that we had for the organic crystals. And then we'll have the fusion power plants themselves in this little gap right there. So let's go on ahead, let's find the center of this, that way it doesn't get off center. Actually, we'll put it back in the center of the grid. Ooh, actually, we're not going to put it there. Yeah, no, we're not going to put it there, because that's way too close to that fault line. We're going to put it here instead. And then deuterium fuel rods require a couple of things. They require the deuterium, which we're going to have a whole separate system for. I have a plan for that, mostly. Titanium alloy, and blue motors. And we're just going to set all of these down to 500, like so. And then hit demand, demand, demand. And we'll get however many blue motors as we get. Looks like only 250. We'll just go ahead and put the rest in, and that'll be fine. I'll go get more. I have plenty. And then, like I was saying, we need 12 of these. So, 6 on each side makes us a perfect 12. Like this. Select the recipe, deuterium fuel rod, copy paste, and then this is just still your standard run-of-the-mill. We're actually going to use Mark 1 belts for this. And then we'll use Mark 2 for this piece. And it's the same thing that I've done forever amount of times. So while our power grid heals, and I go on ahead and actually work through all of this and get it working properly, I'm just gonna be right back and show you the finished product. Alright, so turning off all of the production actually, shockingly, dropped our satisfaction back to tolerable levels. And now that our satisfaction is back to tolerable levels, it actually is starting to buffer itself with all of the production, which means that the production is bloated. And the reason why that's bad is because as soon as I start overdoing it, just like I was overdoing it, it's gonna start to crash itself yet again. Which is why we're just gonna use that bloating to finish our fusion power plant next time. Because, yeah, I ended up deciding fractionating and all of that stuff, like using these guys and explaining how they work and what they do, and everything of that nature is going to take an episode entirely dedicated in and of itself. So you guys are going to have to wait until next time to see that. But overall, very successful episode. Very proud of the work that got done today, and we're going to continue this next time. But for now, thank you everybody so much for watching. I hope you have enjoyed. But without further ado, adios, sayonara, au revoir, hasta la vista, das vidania, wiedersehen, ciao, and goodbye. Please have yourselves all a fantastic rest of your day. Get some sleep if you need to. Don't forget to stay hydrated. I see you not drinking water. Go drink some water. Water's good for you. This video is in the bag, and I will see you guys in the next one. Later, y'all.